Greetings and welcome to Matrix Unlocked presentation number 16. Now I'd like to expand on Nicole's excellent presentation on her television channel, talking about awakening and the present situation. Many of you that I talk to are all going through very similar experiences, and this is basically an extension of all the other, shall we say, symptoms of this awakening, from the ringing in the ears, the sleepless nights, the night sweats, and also relationships. It's not just being the black sheep of the family. Often you'll have partners who are not spiritually as advanced, and I would have to agree with Nicole that you wear a mask, this shadow self, to go out into this normal society, as it were. But what we must remember is that we need to lose this mindset of wanting to be in a relationship, because it is all about a journey of going within and being complete and whole within yourself. If you are looking for somebody who's going to prop you up and make up for what you see as your shortcomings, then that is making you dependent on the other person, which is not really what this spiritual path is all about. So what my intention here is to suggest this in a positive way rather than looking at the negative aspects of it. It's just like depression and anxiety. When you've got it, you feel like you're the only one that has it, and it is to a point where even getting out of bed can seem a horrendous ordeal to have to go through. And this whole awakening experience is no different, because it is a case of part of you wants to go out and tell people, but unless they are looking at things with the same background, then no, they're not going to understand it, and they're going to try and equate what you're saying to them around what they think they already know. So it won't make sense to them, and of course then you get called crazy. And look at what you're walking on a lot of the time. It's not the paving crazy anyway. But it is very much, whether it be anxiety, depression, and this whole spiritual awakening, it is one of isolation, or can feel very much so. You'll often find that you connect at a soul level with people who are across the pond, as it were, separated by great distances. Now, I have suggested before that our geographical locations are all connected with the energy grids. For those of you familiar with this whole idea of Tataria and the star forts, if you look at where these star forts are positioned, and also pyramids and things, they seem to be on junctions of this energy grid of Earth. You could describe it almost like an ancient civilization's version of a World Wide Web. And because all this energy is channeling through us, we are basically sort of living versions of these pyramids, as it were. But let's look at this word, isolation. I mean, it sounds an awful word. You can hopefully get it all in the picture here. But just break it down into its constituent parts of the word, and then it will actually make a lot more sense. Because we are being singled out, quite literally singled out. Because if we are to focus on going within and generating and radiating out this energy, then we're not here to carry anybody else. Yes, give them a hand up and help them, but everybody has to do their own work. We're not here to carry anyone. So I would suggest, if we look at the word isolation and now break it down, So you have eye, your third eye. Sol, which is your soul. Sol is also another name for the sun, the light within your soul. We are also dependent on 12 salts. Now, salt is another word, which is cell. We also have cells in our body. You see, these words are all interconnected. So, I, sol, at, I, on. Because we want our third eye, to be on. On is connected with light. I mean, just think when you switch a light on, that is literally what it is. It is turning it on, and we want to turn our energy on so we can radiate it out. And it is by generating out this energy that things will change in a far more subtle way than if we try and vocalize things to people. As Nicole said, and I've had experience of this, where total strangers will just stare at you. And I've suggested before that even the most calcified pineal gland can still detect something about us that their mind cannot comprehend. It's something new to them, and this is why they stare, because they're thinking that person is different, but they can't quite tell what it is that is different. And I mean, I can quite easily walk around a town and be Mr. Invisible. I mean, as you can see, I really blend in with the crowd, don't I? But I can walk around and nobody notices me, and I choose not to interact with most people because they are energy vampires. Unless they are on this spiritual path, it is a waste of your energy, really, to try and talk to them. So the intention of this video is to don't look at these things in a negative way. Turn it round, because there is always an equal and opposite with everything. The ringing in the ears, I mean, can be said to be tinnitus, but I think when you're on this spiritual path, and I have noticed this when I talk to different people, the ringing changes in pitch. It seems higher in the ear, or it will move, and it'll feel like it's more within the head as well. So there's always two ways to look at these things. So you can see isolation as being alone and no one to talk to, but is not spirituality all about being content within oneself? So I think this is why we have these relationship problems. To be honest, this is not something, until seeing a video the other day, I've not really given it that much thought, because I have no intentions of actually going out there and finding anybody, and the chances of someone being on the same wavelength and being in the same area. I mean, I know of one person who is nearby and is very much spiritually awakened, but I think it is done this way on purpose, because we need to stay focused for what is to come. And I don't want to put this out as fear, because I can see it is anything but fear. It is all down to this energy that we can radiate out, and it will protect us. There is no two ways about it. That all the signs are there from various people I've talked to, from what they're coming back with. They are experiencing things as well. And this month, I think you will see a huge upsurge in this awakening energy. Don't forget, at the end of this month, you have Halloween. Now, if we look at the word Halloween, well, the wean part, what is weaning? It's taking something away from its mother, and I would suggest we're talking about detaching us from Mother Earth, from nature. Now, Hallow means all souls, so it is taking your soul energy, it's being weaned away from Mother Earth. Everything is geared up to do this, to divorce us from this soul aspect of our experience in this 3 dimension. but we need to stay rooted to. I mean, that's another big term with the spiritual side about earthing, going barefoot, being rooted with earth. Same as trees do. Tree, same as trees do. They are rooted into earth, and all plants, they're in contact with Mother Nature. And what do we do when we go out amongst the trees and in nature? And especially if you're barefoot, two of your souls are then in direct contact. And I would also suggest this is why, particularly with women, the fashion of high heels is to keep your souls detached from that connection with earth. And really, are they a practical thing to wear? I've seen lots of younger women wearing high heels, and you can clearly see that they're not used to wearing them, and it actually looks rather comical. And it's like, well, why are you putting on this pretense? Is it peer pressure? I mean, they're well and truly stuck in the matrix. They've probably spent a fortune on these shoes as well. And they're not happy with themselves. You can see it on their faces. And this is another thing with this awakening, this perception. It's not just seeing with these three-dimensional eyes, it is seeing from the heart through this eye. And some of you I know will see the way energy changes. I don't want to say this video is for the most spiritually advanced, because there is no hierarchy to any of this. We are at different levels within this awakening. And I've had people say to me, why can't I do tarot cards? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Well, consider that the events that are to come, you may have skills that have not even been tapped into. A lot of this seems to come through intuition and an inner knowing. It will just come to you without even having to try when the time is right. So, just as a hypothetical example, say it's rebuilding a civilization, you may find that you have a natural talent that you didn't even know for laying bricks, for example, or carpentry. But it's not something you're presently doing. Because let's face it, when there is a conflict, there is always a level within people when they are backed into a corner and forced into a situation, this new determined energy will suddenly come out of nowhere. And think about all those stories of people suddenly getting this superhuman strength. Another example of this would be if somebody is working under a car and the trolley jack collapses and the car is crushing down on their chest, and it could be just somebody, it could be an elderly woman, and all of a sudden she has this strength to pick up this corner of this car to pull, so that person can be pulled out before they are crushed to death. So I would use that as a sort of 3D reality version of the potential of what we have inside us. So the important thing is to not give in to these worries and fears of what you haven't got, but focus on what you have got and what you can build on. And things will come to you. They will just come. That's the only way I can describe this. So I'm going to end this here. What are we up to? We're up to nearly 14 minutes. So I think I've talked long enough on this. And I will be making some more videos fairly soon, now that I've got some new memory cards. And as I said on, I think it was number 14, ta-ta for now. And stay in the light, stay positive, stay true to yourself, stay sovereign to yourself, and embrace the power that is already within you. It is already there. We've already won this. It's just in 3D. We are subject to time, and you cannot take the cake out of the oven until it is properly baked. That's the easiest way to describe this. So I wish you all a wonderful day, and please do leave comments. It's been a wonderful, it's wonderful to get the comments I'm getting back in response to the videos I've made, and thank you all. I do try and reply to you. I'm going to have to reiterate this again. YouTube have got this wonderful idea of putting things into a spam folder, which they select by whether it's be an algorithm or somebody actually saying, oh, that one can go in spam. And they're not offensive messages, and it's a case of I'm having to go through the spam folder and retrieve them and pull them back out again and reply. So again, I apologise if I have not responded to anybody. It is not intentional, and I am not ignoring you. So with that, I shall end this here, and thank you very much for listening, and stay in the light. We will get there. Thank you.